Shing Cyclone.
Joker!
You gotta do the shing, but it's good enough. Third time's the charm. We already got it.
Okay.
Slam a fucking energy drink. Attention, homies. So, last week we did the first 4 episodes, and now we are doing episodes 5 through 8. Because remember, we do 2 arcs in each episode.
That's right.
Now, I probably... Actually, hold on. I was about to say, I probably should have captured the name of the arc, but I think it was Kamen Rider's My Papa, 3 question marks.
Could he be my dad? It's unclear. I guess we'll find out.
So this episode, it starts off with Shotaro was hired to be a bodyguard for a local politician trying to get a new I think it was a Fuka tower?
It's like a wind tower thing. It's like some sort of weird hippie wind energy thing they're trying to get made up. And the politician's like literally peddling her child up to the forefront like, oh, don't you see this cute kid? Fund our shit, please?
That, at first, I didn't see any real issue with it until about halfway into the episode. So, this building it's like a big windmill, which I think, because they said it was the Fuka incident in the first episode. You know,
oh, that's right.
The story takes place 2 months after that.
Right.
And so I wonder if it's connected to it?
It might be. Well, Fuka's the town. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, so Fuka, okay. Wait,
yeah,
it might
that's
be a lame name for the incident then. That's dumb.
Yeah. I guess just because it's such a weird windy town in, like, Japan or whatever, they're like, oh yeah, that shit that went down in Fuka. That guy got murked super hard.
So, he's doing the bodyguard stuff, and there's an assassination attempt. There's a bunch of shots that kind of fly in at him.
Like most kids shows, starts out with a shooting. Mm-hmm. Like a cop goes down, like some people have to like scramble.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they do actually get fucking shot. I forgot about that.
It was intense. It was fucking cool.
I don't know if intense is the word I'd use, but it's definitely, like, if this was Power Rangers in America, they would have, like, the shots would have hit the ground, they would have ran away. But no, dudes just get shot. The little girl is hiding behind the mom. She has, like, this doll that looks a little bit like Razor from Dota 2, where it's got the night mask, and it's, like, all patchwork and shit. Mm-hmm. And she's holding on to that and starts muttering about her father. And then Kamen Rider, like, Shotaro, as soon as he sees the bullets, he, like, guides the lady in there and then fucking bolts so he can come back as double and try and save him. And so that's how the episode opens up. And this episode, I guess every episode kind of flip-flops between Shotaro and Philip.
I'm sure we've got 2 main characters very clearly. Sometimes we're going to be focusing on Philip, and sometimes we're going to be focusing on Shotaro. Mm-hmm. I, so far, tend to like the episodes where we're focusing on Shotaro, because I like him a little bit more, and this is definitely one of those. This seems to be an episode where he's kind of like the focal point.
So, the Sonozaki family, the big evil crime lords, they don't like the windmill because it's ugly as fuck. Which, honestly, it looks like a fucking space station. I agree. I agree with the crime family on this one. Make it look
fucking
nicer.
bad, yeah.
It didn't even look like a windmill. It looked more like a fucking solar panel thing.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was some sort of weird clean energy bullshit. And they're just looking at it like this guy's just reading the paper and he's like, I fucking hate that shit. Guess we'll have to kill that politician.
So there's another attempted assassination while they're in an office building trying to show the plans, and there's no visuals on where the shooter was from. And then Shotaro learns that the little girl's father that gave her the night doll was assassinated like pretty fucking recently while he was trying to show this off. And so this lady, this is where I made the turning point. I'm like, oh, so she's still her husband was killed for this dumb windmill.
Mother of the Year.
So she keeps her little girl around, knowing that there's literally multiple assassins trying to kill her.
Not only that, but she lies blatantly to her child through, like, both episodes about the truth of her father's death. Like, Mother of the Year? Just, like, maybe that's why she put her kid to the forefront. She's like, oh, man, maybe you can just have her take a bullet. Fuck it. I'm getting this thing built. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, what's... I mean, honestly, do they even need the windmill? They've got enough around that I don't think they really need this extra one. Not enough to the point of, like, putting yourself and your child in the way of an assassination knowingly.
No, you don't understand, man. It was her father's wish. Father would want to see her child and, his child and wife die to fucking make this thing built.
So then, so Shotaro accompanies the client. I forgot to actually write her name down. But he accompanies her to meet this entrepreneur guy who owns the land more on the outskirts of the city to try and get his permission to build the windmill on the land. And the guy's like out there racing RC cars and shit.
Having the time of his fucking life.
And he just kind of ignores her. And it's revealed that he's working right alongside with the salesman guy who has that like Japanese flag tie with the red dot.
Yeah, Nazca.
Yeah. And so they kind of Shotaro speaks to the mother. He's like, "Hey, so why she got that doll? What's going on here?" And there's another assassination attempt, like right in the middle of that explanation. And Philip, because he's been communicating with Philip, who was stuck in a garbage can, and figures out that the shooter is coming from the water, and the bullets that it shoots are its own teeth, because it's Gaia memory, Anomalakaris.
Remember, as long as you're shooting people with teeth, it's okay. You can make as much gunshot noises as you want, but no, that's fine. That's not bullets. Okay.
Yeah, and speaking of bullets, we see Double's sixth and final member. I think it's the final. Trigger! Kamen Rider has a fucking gun.
Yep.
And he just starts shooting at him in the water and shit. The guy hops out. I was actually little surprised that when he beats the guy up, right? And it was I think it was one of the entrepreneurs that were there, because there's two people. It wasn't the entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure. And he like runs in the water after it, and I was wondering like, whoa, what? Why the fuck's he going in the water? Because I was thinking, because you told me before they only make one suit, and then he stops like calf deep, and I'm like, oh, that's because the suit. I don't imagine the suit is very watertight. I'm pretty sure if you fell into the water with that on, you'd probably die.
Dude, there's times you'd be surprised. Like I said, those stunt guys are legends. There are some shows we'll be watching where like you'll see a shot of someone just jumping straight into the goddamn water, full suit.
Now,
like, it's insane.
Are there any times? I don't know if you have this on hand. If you don't have it now, you could probably get it next episode. Do you have any instances in Kamen Rider where like a rider dude in the suit was in like serious danger? I imagine no one's ever died while doing Kamen Rider. But there has to have been a time, like, where someone was in a suit and, like, had to do a very dangerous thing and got very close to getting harm or some shit.
I'm sure that's happened dozens of times. I can't list any specific moments. The only thing I can list is there's a very specific suit in Kamen Rider Kiva where the suit itself was a bulky mess and, like, this isn't, like, any stunts or anything. Just the suit itself like damaged the dude's back, and it was like, okay, we can't use this anymore. It was really like it's a pretty like I don't want to get too much into it because once we watch that show, you're gonna know what suit it is. Trust me, you're gonna be like, oh, fucking rip that guy.
So after he takes out that first dude, he ends up crossing paths with Nazca again. Which, by the way, I realized what his name is. They're the Nazca lines, like the Aztec bullshit.
Really?
And once I saw that, he's got those designs on his suit. Like, if you Google Nazca lines, you'll see, you'll be like, oh, fuck, that's what he is. I thought he was like some kind of weird bug.
Yeah.
To go,
that's
cool.
Go
with the other suit. Alex told me that.
Neat.
So they fight, and it has that really fun gimmick where I still love the rival character being very formal and playing smart, and the pro tag being like a fucking idiot and winning like the first few times because of that. Because he'll do something really stupid.
So I was surprised by a few things. I was expecting this to be the introduction of like a Dark Rider type, and I'm like, wow, we're doing this early, eh? But no, it just seems like he's a fairly strong goon, and he like jobs out to Double super fast in the episode. Like he shows up and he's all dramatic and he's like fucking throws off fedora. I'm here to attack you. I am here to assassinate you. And Double's like, all right. And he just takes out his gun and shoots him. And he,
basically.
Fucking Nazca's like, but how? Guns? I hate this.
Yeah, and like there was a so there was like this giant Anomalocaris dude that he so there was like a jet ski that he made with Luna and Trigga.
Yeah.
And he like goes on, and I can tell it was CGI, because the first I'm like, oh, are they gonna actually have him go on the jet ski? Because I don't think that thing's seaworthy. And then no, it was a CGI. So I'm like, yeah, okay. That confirmed my suspicions that if he falls in that water, he's probably gonna die.
Yeah, I guess don't take the risk if you don't have to.
So then he's kind of like on a green screen, flying all over, shooting the thing. And then he takes, and I thought this was super silly. I loved it. He opens the gun, takes the Gaia memory out, puts it into the gun, and like loads it to get a trigger full burst, and then blasts the giant fucking lobster dude. Explodes it.
So overall, I think, quite honestly, I rather liked this episode. We did skip over a pretty important plot point, though, and that's that the little girl believes that Kamen Rider is her father.
Yes. I actually liked how he handled it, because one of the reasons that I restarted watching Kamen Rider is I was thinking, okay, these are people who are being heroes to the point of being a little bit cheesy, but there's still that heart at the center of it.
Depends on which one you watch,
quote,
but yeah.
The ending quote, so he tries telling the girl that her father died before, and
but like,
he can't bring
he's
it
not
up
a heartless monster, so he can't.
He can't bring her up to it. He's just like, because he keeps asking, like, so Kamen Rider's your papa? She's like, yeah, look at him, he saved us, look at this toy I got. And he's like, well, Kamen Rider's, I'm friends with him. Yeah, I'm friends with Kamen Rider. Pulling a Peter Parker.
Yeah, pretty much. But Philip, by the way, is sitting there and he's like, dude, you should tell her. Dude, like, this situation's fucked up. If you don't tell her, it's just gonna get worse. And he's kinda right, but he also doesn't have the balls to tell her, because he's sitting there looking up like, okay, what did her father do? What did he used to do? Okay, gotta make sure to do that. Keep the illusion up.
The father used to do a thing where like he would like pat her head in a specific way, and Philip finds that out earlier on, and then when they're leaving at the end of the episode, he says like, he does the thing, and then the mom tells her, "Oh, Kamen Rider's got to go and save the city. Your papa can't stay with us. He's got an important job to do."
Which they're still lying to her, and like,
but he says the final line in the episode is, "I'm sure the girl will find out someday. In the meantime, we won't ruin that little girl's dreams. All it means is that Kamen Rider Double has just gained one more duty." And that's I like that. It was
very good.
That quote is what I expected Kamen Rider to be, and I'm glad it is.
There's a reason, like, a lot of people recommend Double as a starting show. While it is more in line with more modern stuff, he is very, like, they're both very much, they create a hero that is just.
He's got a good balance of traditional Kamen Rider heroism and then more modern kind of storytelling stuff with that wacky twist of being the detective and all that.
Right.
There's a few other things I noticed. One of them was that the Mafia family keeps referring to it as our city. I'm sure that's going to come up again.
Oh yeah, no, they're just like, you don't understand. This is our city. We rule this city, and soon the world.
They're very, very traditionally evil. Double,
I love them.
Or Shotaro says multiple times there first, like, I don't want anyone crying in my city. This is my city, etc., etc. But the other thing I noticed is that the bad guy, the entrepreneur, had a ring on his pointer finger. Is that like a thing?
I don't know.
Because it looked like a wedding ring.
It might be.
I'm wondering
I don't know how it works in Japan.
Because I was checking on, I did some Googling around trying to find, like, is that when Japanese people are married, do they wear it on their pointer finger? Do you wear it on your middle? Because traditionally a wedding ring is on the left hand on the ring finger, which is second from the end.
Right.
And I don't know I think it might have just been like a fashion thing. It might have been something that just went over our heads because we're, dumb pig Americans who play bad game RuneScape.
Right. Hey, actually, you know what? I just thought of something, too. So, there's all this talk of family, right? How come Philip didn't flip the fuck out like he did the last 2 episodes?
I think the implication was he found a family in Akiko and Shotaro.
Maybe, but he still
I'm
seemed
sure
like
it'll
he was
come up
freaking
again.
out. He still seemed like he was freaking out, though. It didn't seem like we resolved anything. And here, he's sitting there, like, looking up, like, he's not freaking out going, like, parents? Oh, no! Instead, he's just like, oh, yeah, let me look up what this girl's fucking dad used to do. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I took it as, because the alternative is just, like, they kind of ignored it, and I hope that's not it.
I've watched enough Kamen Rider, that's probably just it. But that's fine, because it worked for a very good episode. I think these 2 episodes, 5 and 6, were quite good.
Another thing I found out when I was doing that Googling about the rings is that there's this Japanese professional wrestler dude named Hiroshi Tanahashi who really liked Double.
Hell yeah. He's a dope-ass wrestler.
Yeah, he made a costume based off of Double where it's split right down the middle with black and white, and it looks super cool. There's a picture of him, like, doing the casual hand flip thing that Double does when he transforms. It's really cool.
There's a picture of him with, like, almost every Rider Transformer, like, toy. Like, he loves Kamen Rider. Tanahashi's a fucking cool guy. And he's a good wrestler, too. Like, he's one of the best.
So that was that was the first arc, Kamen Rider's My Papa.
Oh,
and then there's the other...
One more very important thing. I feel like this is really important to mention. Fucking Santa and Watcherman, they just hang out together.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because I thought they were like separate characters. They're just kind of, they're off doing this thing, or they're off doing that thing. No, they're fine. They're just hanging out. They're chilling.
They sit there. They're fucking eating ramen, and like, what's her name? Akiko shows up, and she's like, "Oh, hey, we need your help." And Watcherman's like, "Oh, I don't know." And she's like, "Dude, okay, the ramen's on me." Cut to, like, she goes away for a second and comes back, and they've got like 12 bowls. They're like, "Hell yeah, it's on you. We're just gonna eat the whole day."
Full Phoenix, right?
Yeah, fuck Akiko.
Now, I actually liked this second arc more.
Really?
This one is so this one is more, there was more of a divide between the Philip story and the Shotaro story.
Yeah.
It starts off with Philip. He finds a locked book called Heaven's Tornado in the Gaia library, which, by the way, has the flimsiest looking lock fucking ever. Like, it looks like, I don't know if they just kind of found a book that had a lock on it, or they didn't want to take the time to make like a real sturdy looking lock, because it looked like he could have just hit it like lightly and it would have come off.
Bros.
But he can't find out what it is. He's like, I don't know what the fuck Heaven's Tornado is, and I want to know.
Bros. But can you show me Heaven's Tornado? But can you show me though? Bros?
So Philip, he starts looking up info on like a street performer for some reason. And he ends up hitting a brick wall. And then he goes to leave, like he's like writing on the walls, then literally writing on a brick wall. And then he goes to leave the office to gather some info on the street himself. And as he's leaving, Shotaro pulls him back, saying, don't you know they're still looking for you? Which is a new piece of information about the Fuko incident, which is people are actively looking for Philip.
Yeah, and he was in that whack-ass crystal prison, and I guess they want to put him back.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I assume it's the crime family just because they're the main bad guys, but they haven't mentioned Philip at all. Right. So, my working theory on what Philip was is that he was, like, in that facility. They were using him as, like, because he's got the whole Gaia library thing. That's not natural.
Right.
That's something that probably happened to him. And then the chief and Shotaro went there for, like, some reason and then ended up saving him as a secondary thing. Mm. So that's what I think happened with him. But he leaves to go find the street dancer. And he, like, takes his radio and pulls, like, a Fortnite dance challenge where he just starts dancing with, like, no expression on his face, just repeating the dances. Like, wow, that was really easy, huh? And the guy... the guy looks so fucking insulted.
He's like, what the fuck? You think you could do this, like, super willy-nilly? Fuck you. I'm dance-free Dongo. I'm gonna leave now.
That's right, his name was Dongo.
Yep.
There was an important thing here that he mentioned.
Oh, the fact that he had a Tupac shirt in that one scene?
I was gonna wait until that scene.
Oh, man. I can't get over it.
Akiko introduces herself, and he notices her last name as the chief. So he knew who the chief was. And so I guess I'll put that in, like, the notepad of, like, any bit of info. The only thing I know about the chief is that he knew a breakdancing guy from high school, or that was currently in the high school, and he also wore white clothing, which also, Shotaro's wearing a black fedora, not the white one from the chief.
He almost always wears black, yes.
I wonder why that is. Then, so that's the Philip. They eventually converge again, but that's where Philip is. He's trying to find out about the Heavens Tornado.
And in the meantime, what's going on is there's another dopant going around named Roach Star, and it seems like he's kind of like stepping on Kamen Rider's gimmick. He calls himself a hero, and he's showing up, and he's just like murdering people he thinks are unjust, but also who visit his fucking give his page sick upvotes. So that seems to be like his deal. Is he'll show up and he looks like a big gross roach, and he's really fast.
Yeah,
and...
Roach Star is he has this website where anyone could go in and say, hey, this person is unjust or evil, and then he'll go take care of them. Like, Roach Star goes to the principal of the local high school, and actually what you realize way later at the end is that the way he gets that info is someone throws a rock through the window, and the person who threw it is most likely Dango.
Right.
Because of a reason we'll get to in a bit. But when Roach Star goes in there to the principal, he like sprays some blue gunk over him, and then Shotaro he's not able to transform because Philip is like occupied doing dumb shit. And when he's fighting Roach Star by himself, you see like he has like a big cockroach butt, and you can see it hitting the guy in the face for like a few seconds, because like the action is them, but if you look at the guy against the wall, you can see him getting hit in the face and trying not to react. So he goes up and he fights Roach Star on the roof and finally transforms. And because the reason that Philip wasn't going,
he was trying to track Dango.
Yeah, he was trying to track him on a bus again with the buses. So Roach Star, they fight him on the roof, and he does the Cyclone Joker. And has he always had those cool air crescent kicks on that combo?
I believe so.
When he kicks, there's like these green like crescent things, like fucking Kirby 64.
Oh yeah, sometimes I saw it. I think during episode 3 or 4. It was during the fight with Money. They brought that out once or twice.
So the fight ends early because Philip has to like abandon it.
He has to peace out because he has to follow this fucking dance kid.
And there's a really fun thing about that scene. So Akiko's like carrying him out and tosses her off her back. And you can see a bunch of kids, because there's a bunch of people in the back, like in the bus in the back of the scene. There's a bunch of little kids who look like super fucking psyched to be there. Not because the scene asked for it, but because they're in an episode of Kamen Rider. Right. And so they're like super excited and shit.
That's awesome.
And eventually Philip and Akiko keep trying to find this dude. And the fucking cat? What was the cat's name?
Yeah, the cat's a fucking dopant. He's like it's a fucking
like a Miriam or something.
It's like a Megalodon or something. No, Similodon. That's what he is.
Yeah, the cat has a fucking belt.
Which is fucking great.
The dude, like the big boss man, like puts it on there, and he turns into super fast electric leopard man who chases after Akiko and Philip.
Dude, he literally turns to Nazca and he's like, alright, if my cat outshines you, you're fucked, buddy. You better get going. And so Nazca's like, I'm gonna show him. I'm gonna fucking show him I'm better than a cat.
He got real mad.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the cat guy, Similodon or Similodon, does a really cool thing where it puts its hands together and make a face. Like the hands are like, or the claws turn into like teeth. It's got like a single eyeball on its forearm.
Yeah, it does like a fight pose. It does like a Kamehameha pose, and like the Kamehameha pose, there's a cat face. And when he shut his hands, it looks cool.
So back to Shotaro, though. He meets the 2 high school girl informants who tell him about the Underworld Pest Control website.
Oh, yeah, right. We have new characters.
They just kind of show up.
Names.
Yeah. I didn't even bother to write it down.
All I remember is that one of them, like, immediately is like, oh, hey, how's it going? And one of them's like, ha, tits and ass. And the other one's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, kind of like this podcast.
Yep.
So that's, he finds out that the Roach Patrol guy has a manga that is chronicling what he does almost exactly.
Which, by the way, now Roach Dojin is a phrase I can use when talking about Kamen Rider.
Please don't.
That's, apparently, they straight up call it a fucking Dojin. And it's
technically,
like,
that is the correct term.
Yeah, it is. Santa hands it off to him. He's like, oh, hey, man, listen, I don't know about what's going on, but you want this Roach Dojin?
So,
he loves it.
So Philip and Akiko escape the Similidon, and Double fights Roach Star. Because remember, at this time they were being chased by Similidon, and he was fighting Roach Star. They couldn't transform because then Philip was going to get knocked the fuck out. And I wonder how often that's going to come up in future episodes where they're in a situation like that.
And they just can't transform, right?
So during the fight, a dude, like the breakdancing dude, falls and hits a rock, and you can totally tell that the rock is styrofoam because it just kind of gets knocked way over.
Right.
And the episode actually ends with a really cool moment. Roach Star's super, super fast. And he runs over and he just walks up and yoink, takes the Luna and Trigger memories right from Double's fucking belt.
Because that's what almost beat him last time. A theme I've noticed these last couple episodes is like, they almost beat Roach Star. And then Philip's single-tracked mind kind of distracts him from, like, actually finishing the job. Because he's sitting there, he's too busy thinking about Heaven's Tornado.
Yeah.
Because that happens here, too. That's what allows him to grab the 2 guy memories.
And the thing, so I'm a little confused about how the memories work. So when Philip puts his piece in, no matter where he's at, he gets the belt, and then the memory shows up on Double's belt. So when they transform back, I guess he'll still lose the memory? How exactly does it work? So, like, when Shotaro and Philip do they have, like, 3 and 3? And when they combine, they can choose from the total? Or does one of them have... Like, I don't think they, like, thought it that far through. I think it's just like...
What I want to say is that it seems like Philip has Cyclone. Philip has Cyclone, and the rest are just kind of in hammer space around Shotaro. But he needs, like... But there are some that are very specifically, like, for Philip.
Like, I think Cyclone and Luna. I think those are the ones that they always have to be together.
And Heat.
But I don't really know.
Yeah, Cyclone, Luna, and Heat appear to be... They appear to be Philip's. And then Metal, Joker, and...
Trigger
are Shotaro's.
And another thing I picked up from this is that Roach Star knew how their belt worked. Which the other guys that they fought didn't know. The other Dopants did not know how that belt worked.
Well, he also asked. Because he was like... He took the memories and he tries to use them. Like, he tries to use them on himself, and we get to get a good look at the actual guy, and how he's, like, a creepy fucking, like, weeb sitting out in his home, with, like, this big, Weird Al Yankovic hair, and he's like, oh, fuck, I can't get these to work, and they're like, oh, you're gonna need that belt. And he's like, oh, okay, good. I can get that belt.
Yeah, like, he was pretty much like a shitty writer, where he was like, oh, I'm gonna beat up all these bad guys, but I'll just take money, you know? I'm not gonna, like, actually care. Oh, right. You have someone who... you say was a bad person? Yeah, sure, give me 50,000 yen, which is probably like 5 cents, and I'll kill him.
Right.
So Akiko and Philip have a really fun like side story throughout this arc. Like she smacks him right in the head, and he just doesn't even pay attention to it to continue having a conversation with the stupid breakdance guy. He doesn't even care about the Gaia memories that much.
He really doesn't. He's too busy with being obsessed with, like, this one dance move that he can't figure out.
So, another thing we see is that Psycho, Psycho Sanazaki, is getting a little tired with the salesman's bullshit. Like, people are starting to turn against him because he's not really, besides selling Gaia memories, he's not really, doing much for the family.
Yeah, his wife's being like a cold-hearted bitch to him. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get him." And she goes, "Oh, don't be surprised if I'm not too excited. I mean, let's be real, you're kind of fucking up a whole bunch."
So, what happened to start this going was Roadstar had a hit on the breakdancer's girlfriend that he put on her himself, which I was a little surprised that they let the breakdancer guy be like kind of a generally shitty person. He wasn't like a super good guy. They eventually like lock them in the Batmobile so that they can sort out their differences so that Philip could just see the stupid fucking dance.
Right? He doesn't even care. He doesn't even really care about getting them back together. It's just a means to the ends to... Bros! Heaven's Tornado, though?
So they go to a public square that I'm pretty sure was where they fought Money, and the girl gets like fucking clocked in the back of a knee with a sewer grate right at the start.
Yeah.
And in this, because I had a feeling this is what was going to happen, because this whole thing was the Heaven's Tornado, where it takes two people to do the dance technique. That's when like it clicks for Philip. And I was pretty sure, I'm like, okay, they're either going to get their stuff stolen, and then Philip and Shotaro have to like unpowered, like distract the dude with like this dance technique to kick the shit out of him. And that's kind of what happened. Shotaro takes a back seat while Philip takes primary control over Double, and then him and the breakdance guy like dance around and kick the shit out of Roachstar.
Yeah, him and Dongo, like regular dude, is bodying this guy.
And there's like a bunch of yes in the background as they dance, and it's so fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Then there's just a few other things I noticed in the episode. The sound effects for Trigger are super fucking cheap. It sounds like a McDonald's toy.
Well, that makes it easier to sell you the McDonald's toy that makes those noise.
I guess so, because they don't play up the sound effect of being like when you put it in the gun, it's like choo. It sounds like if I just had one on hand and pressed the button and recorded it through this fucking microphone. When the human Roachstar is struggling after he loses, you can actually see a camera light in his glasses too.
I didn't notice that.
But the important thing that you learned from Roachstar is that when he tried that you have to have those belts for these specific Gaia memories.
Yes.
Which makes me, because one of the things I was wondering was why they didn't try to keep the Gaia memories if they could to use with Double. But I understand, like, production-wise, they had to make fucking, like... I really wonder how they made the suits. If the suit was able to be slotted together, or if they made, whatever combination of suits that they needed. Because I don't
They probably made different combinations. I'm not sure, though. That's a weird one.
If they made multiple copies of the suit, it would make sense for why the suit is kind of plain looking, and there's not a lot of fancy bullshit on it.
Well, also because the fun on it, like, you mentioned this to me earlier, but one of the fun things is that I didn't notice until you really look in, the different forms actually do have different little nuances to them. Like, metal has, like, little screws by the W, and it's got, like, some other stuff going on as far as, like, looking a little bit more metallic with...
Like gears on the
patterns.
chest.
Yeah, like weird, like, line patterns that look a little bit more rigid. All the suits kind of have things like that. Like, Luna's a lot more smooth. And things like that.
And then the last thing I noticed is that I'm wondering if there's like a bit of a romance subplot between Philip and Akiko, because she was like acting, she was like, I'm trying to think the word for it. It wasn't like an obvious like look, but she was like paying a lot closer attention to him and caring a lot more about what he was doing and like noticing things. Philip obviously didn't fucking notice anything. You just want to see that dance move.
Right.
But I'm wondering if that's going to be a thing that'll happen throughout the series. But I guess we'll find out.
Something I've noticed about a lot of Kamen Rider shows is there's a lot of side girl and main guy kinda will they, won't they? Sometimes they push it a little harder, but it's always kind of there on the back burner. And it gets especially weird because sometimes the side girl is his sister. And that's like with Kabuto, that's a thing. And with Kuga as well.
But yeah, those were episodes 5 through 8. I really liked them. That's a step up. I understand that for the first 2 arcs they had to really kind of establish everything, but these arcs were really fun, and they picked up a lot faster. There's a lot more interesting stuff happening, and the suits were a lot better. The enemy suit designs.
Quite honestly, I rather liked episode 5 and 6. 7 and 8, I'll be honest, I kind of hated it, but I think it's because Philip kind of got on my nerves with his like just how a lot of the issues with that episode were just kind of caused because Philip is kind of a fuckhead. Like, he's just kind of like, oh, but no, you don't understand. I have to see this technique. And it led to Shotaro losing Gaia memories and like, haha, maybe this girl's gonna die because Philip just doesn't seem to give a shit. But everything else was pretty interesting. There was a lot of wackiness, and I'm a fan of wackiness. It was quite fun. It wasn't like a deal breaker. The episode was still good. I think it was just like a step down from the last couple episodes for me personally.
I think seeing double breakdancing with this random Asian guy with a fucking Tupac shirt saved the episode.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There was a fucking solid minute and a half of that guy dancing at the school in the Tupac shirt.
Right. So here's another fun thing about Kamen Rider is whenever they have shirts in English, it's always the best thing ever because it's either like something like that where it's just straight up a Tupac shirt and the Japan just doesn't care, or it's something where they just have random English words. And in this kids show, there'll be a shirt that says, "Hey, do you like to fuck?" Random words that are like actually curse words. You know that meme about like the guy who gets like a stupid like Japanese kanji? It actually says like cuck king or something. Like things like that happen with this show in English or English clothing.
Yeah, and that Tupac shirt was one of those like those shitty Dollar General shirts where it's like black and white and it's got like a bunch of smoke and shit on it. It was ugly as fuck.
One of those shirts that all the cool kids wore in 2005.
Yeah. Hey, Double did come out in 2009, so
that's true. So it might have still been in vogue in Japan at the time.
So we'll go ahead and end the episode here. You can find the episodes on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play. The website is LMTYA.com or Let Me Tell You About .moe. Twitter, Let Me Tell You PD, and all the rest of the nonsense will be in the description. So we'll see you guys in about a week when we go over episodes 9, 10, 11, and 12.